plenty of features to talk about, but the kind of main takeaway from it is how much effort they've gone into to kind of make it disappear. So I'm Neil, I'm Velo Expert, and these are my 5-minute thoughts on the HJC Bellus 2. The helmet market, much like the rest of the bike industry, has been obsessed with aerodynamics for the last 5 or 6 years, and rightly so, because it makes quite a big difference at higher speeds. And HJC, to be fair, are no different. They do have aero road helmets, so they do the Furion, which is their kind of aero race lid. But for gravel riding and the slower speeds that a lot of us ride at, they have a different theory. So they say that under 20 kilometers an hour, which is basically the speed most of us climb at, you're much better off with a helmet with better ventilation than something with better aerodynamics. Now, HJC have been around for a long time. You know, they've been around for 50 plus years. And if you're not aware of them, they do a lot of MotoGP and supermoto helmets. So they've got a lot of background in protection and safety, but they also have their own wind tunnel. So not only can they test the aerodynamics and the CDA and all of those things, but they also spend a lot of time looking at airflow and how a helmet functions. So they say that this helmet isn't just the perfect helmet for the high speed parts of your ride. It's actually the best helmet for 90% of your ride. So, i.e., most of the time. So the first thing you notice when you pick up this helmet is just how well it's made. It has a really solid, well-engineered feel that often lightweight helmets don't have. It's really well put together, and in the hand it feels really well made, which is not always the case with high-end lightweight helmets. The second thing you'll notice is ventilation. So that's the kind of MO with this helmet, is for it to be super well ventilated. They claim it's 3.2% better than the original Bellus. Now, I wouldn't notice 3.2%. I don't know about you, and I've not used the original helmet, so I can't verify those claims. But I can say it does work extremely well in hot temperatures. We've had a bit of a heat wave of late, and this has been perfect in those conditions. It's been great. It's noticeably better ventilated than a lot of the other helmets I use. So they call it CoolPath. That's their design language they use, and it's designed for the air to come through the helmet. But the ones I think make the most difference to me are these 3 across the front here, which aren't covered by MIPs or by the helmet pads. So there's no obstructions to the airflow, which is really nice, actually. So when you're riding along, even at slow speeds on climbs, you can feel it through here, which is really good. Probably not so great in winter, but for the warm conditions that this is designed for, it's absolutely perfect. It uses some slightly different systems. It doesn't have the classic MIP systems for the kind of rotation protection. It has what's called SLID, which is this little device at the top here, and that's designed to absorb impacts on rotational forces. Now, I've not tested it. I've not crashed it really hard, and I really don't intend to either. But you know, with all of that experience they have, I'm inclined to go with their research. But one thing I do notice is that unlike a traditional MIP system, it doesn't block a lot of the front of the helmet, so wind flow is really, really good with this lid. Sometimes when you get MIPs, especially the kind of more budget versions, the plastic shielding inside causes you to overheat quite a lot. Not so with this. It's really well done. It's barely noticeable, to be honest. If you look at the helmet from the front, you can see just the outline of the shell of it, but it's really neatly done. Fit position, fit on this helmet's quite good as well. So I run a medium. I'm a 58 centimetre, so I'm right at the very high end of the sizes on here. So there's 2 snap positions to get the cradle in the right position, and you can adjust it 2 ways. So you can adjust it up and down and use it on the dial on the back, which is fairly standard for high-end helmets. This is really well done. It's nice and solid, nice and neat. Doesn't come loose, and I have no issues with it when I'm riding, which is probably the most important thing. But yeah, very, very comfortable. It's not sprung loaded like the Furion, but I didn't notice that being an issue. And it's super easy to adjust, especially when you're on the move. And in terms of adjustment, one thing that is really nice is it comes with a Fidlock strap, which when you first see it, you kind of think is a bit superfluous and not something you really need. But once you've used it, it's the sort of thing that you soon quickly get used to, and a buckle suddenly feels old-fashioned. So this is really nice because you can do it one-handed. It's really easy to do. Just put it together, click, click, off you go. So really, really like this Fidlock. I've used it on a couple of other helmets, and like I say, at first you kind of think you don't need it, but once you have used it, it is something you really like to use more and more. Has sunglass storage on here as well, which is really well done, actually. Some helmet brands don't really get that very right, but it's really solid on here. So on longer climbs, I can put the glasses on front of my head here so they don't steam up as much, which is a really nice touch, actually, and it's well done on this lid. Something I use more than I thought it would, actually. And it comes with a soft peak should you want it. So cotton caps aren't really done anymore, but I quite like wearing a peak from time to time. It's not like a mountain bike peak. It's not, it doesn't really interfere with your field of vision too much, but it does a good job. Adds a bit more, hiding from the sun, absorbs a bit more sweat, works really nicely, and looks really cool too. In terms of styling on this, I really like it. It's quite a classic looking helmet, so it doesn't look like a full aero helmet. It doesn't make you look like a speed skater. It comes in 7 colours. I've got the white here, which I really like. I think it looks really cool. The green looks good too. But there are 7 different options, so there's bound to be one you like. Comes in 3 sizes, and this medium comes in at pretty lightweight, 270 grams. So, is it worth 159 quid? I'd say it is. It's a comfortable helmet, does what it says. It's really, really well ventilated. If you're after aerodynamic gains and you're more race biased, there are better helmets for that. The Furion, for example, is a good option. But for gravel riding and the slower speeds that I do on a gravel bike, this has been really good. I've really enjoyed wearing it. I don't wear the Peak as often as I thought I would, although it does look pretty cool. But it's, the build quality of this is really good. It's held up really well. Barely know I've worn it, to be honest, despite using it for a couple of months now. It's solid. There's no scratches and dents in it. It fits really well. Yeah, not much more to say than that. So, is it the best gravel helmet out there? That's hard to say because helmets are so fit specific, but it's definitely one I would recommend checking out. And it's one that I wasn't particularly aware of before. But having worn it for quite some time now, I've been really, really impressed with it. And it's certainly something I would look at getting again, or another helmet from the HJC lineup. So yeah, for long climbs, hot days, gravel rides, this is a really good choice and certainly one I would recommend checking out. So those are my 5-minute thoughts on the HJC Bellus 2. So if you've got any thoughts on a gravel helmet or what you expect from a gravel helmet, then don't forget to pop them in the comments below. I'd really like to know, actually. I'm really curious. And if you like the reviews I've been doing, don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers, guys.